Thursday morning. It's about 10 o'clock. I am headed north to Waco for SWAT. So those of you that have seen these videos before, you know what's going to follow. Just hang in there and enjoy the ride. So check this out. Well, I made it to Waco safely. I'll be staying here. The convention center is in through there. I'll be going in and registering here in a little bit. Setting up my table at the instant gallery. Looking forward to a good weekend. Thursday afternoon at SWAT. Registration doesn't open until 3, and they won't let us put instant gallery out until 3 either, and that's going in there. But a lot of vendors are already setting up. Curtis Seebeck over there, Vince with Vince's Wooden Wonders. Of course, Eugene with Amalgamate Blanks, Carl Jacobson, and some others. And this is the outside vendor area. Carter and Son back here in their usual spot. And here's the other vendor area. A lot of these guys aren't fully set up yet, but some of them are getting pretty close. Shelly and Todd Grains, as always. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Robust setting up over here. A lot of people aren't here yet. The wood folks are here as always. This is the best time to get your wood when you get here. Thursday afternoon. Because you can get it while it's here. It will disappear quickly. Hidden Valley Woods over here. Best Wood Tools over here. Nice looking modular tool rests. Hi. Ken Rizza over here. These guys sell wood from Comfort, Texas. They're always here. Great bunch of people, and they've always got a great selection. That's them sitting there taking it easy. Stuart Batty over here. I said hi to him a while ago. Lyle Jameson is getting set up back here. Maybe his son. Well, no, Lyle's doing a presentation this year, so he should be here. Got my instant gallery all set up. I just hope he don't grow legs. Two of my favorite people in the whole world right there.
First time I've seen that.
Make sure it's right, Rita.
Yeah, he's getting every one of them.
It's Friday morning. Mad rush for registration for those that didn't get here last night to get registered and set up. More of the vendors. Cindy Drozda over there. Doug Thompson's table. He's not behind it yet. Vince with Vince's Wooden Wonders. That's where I get all my sandpaper. Y'all should too. It's good stuff.
I'll meet you down in a bit.
Rebecca, I need your autograph. Will you please sign this, please? You're a famous magazine superstar. Hey, this wasn't planned.
We'll talk a little bit later.
Oh, sure.
All right.
Better start with the guy with
Start with the guy with the pen. This wasn't planned at all.
I'm just sad I couldn't find my magazine. I couldn't find it. I know. It's so sad.
In certain very small, no, her circles are really big.
Big, very big circle.
It's kind of a big deal. My favorite pillbox.
Okay. What's the quickest way to
Walk out the door. Walk out that door. You should be able to shoot down to the side. Oh, you gotta walk over there.
I told you I had some special planned.
But I need you to get your magazine back out of here.
Rebecca hasn't forgiven me for yesterday. Did you see that evil look I just got? Oh my goodness.
Chasing her around.
No, I'm not chasing her around. I'm just, well,
why are you
teasing her a
taking
little,
videos
teasing her a
of
little bit. I'm taking videos of everybody. This
Okay,
is,
so do neck like you did last year.
yeah, this is a short. It'll go up today.
Did you see Bob Grinstead is here?
I haven't seen him.
Oh, he's going to be for lunch. So
Okay, I haven't run into him yet.
You got to see what we did yesterday.
So we got, I mean, you look at the people, and this is just in the outside in between classes. It's crazy. A lot of people in the gallery looking around.
Yeah.
you were involved.
I
in
was
that?
recording this.
Oh.
It was actually my idea. I forgot to bring my magazine.
So anyway,
I was like,
if you're a wood turner and you're anywhere near the Texas area, there's Jeff, one of my cohorts in crime from Rebecca's thing, and you're anywhere near the Texas area in the end of August, you got to come to SWAT. I mean, it's the best deal for the money anywhere. I mean, $200 for the whole weekend? Come on. The most expensive part of your stay is going to be your hotel. I mean, they feed you lunch every day. It's just crazy, and there's lots of stuff going on. I guarantee you're going to learn something.
Anybody? We're getting ready? 1 minute, 39 seconds. You guys thought of that.
This is Mike Mahoney. The place is full.
Oh, I got 9 minutes. So I got to stand here for 9 minutes? I'm moving over here. You guys are a tough crowd. Oh, no, let me think this. Yes, question? So, it's pretty big. It's not something you can put in a cabinet. But you could make an argument that this could have a film finish on it, like a polyurethane, which I think that would be a good choice because polyurethane is really durable. The problem with polyurethane is it kind of makes this wood look plasticky because polyurethane is plastic. But let's say you settled on that. You say, I'm going to use that anyway because I know my students, and when they make something beautiful, they treat it like a brand new car or a child, and they want to protect it like crazy. I would tell you to try not to have that temptation because, if you know me personally, you know I don't own anything that anybody would steal. And if I can't scratch it or ding it up, it's not worth anything to me. But I can't convince my neighbors and colleagues and fellow Americans of that idea. Because I know people like to keep things preserved, but to me, the wrinkles on the face the olive stains and the cherries and the strawberries and the meat stains. To me, that's all patina that just shows life. And you're not going to diminish this piece by having those stains on it. If you look at my home, which is 130 years old, you're going to see a stair rungs that are all worn out with people going up and down in those 130 years. To me, that's beautiful. But if you like things a little bit more semblance, that's not for you. So I would say I like this with a penetrating oil because anybody and their grandkids can apply that finish. Polyurethane, no. You have to be very skilled hand to do that properly. And you can tell me that you apply polyurethane on things all the time and you do it great. I'd like to see it because it's a very skillful hand. Now let's say that polyurethane wears off right here and you want to fix that finish. I go, why don't you just buy a new platter from me because it's going to be cheaper. Yeah, that's the kind of thought you got to think. I think that did it. Let's go to, this is the underside of the platter.
I had no idea what I was making. I didn't realize that it was going to be a lot of separate pieces that I was going to have to assemble and figure out how to make them all later. All I knew was that I was making something for someone that, you know, out of a special piece of wood for somebody, a little girl that was special to me. And I just got out there, and I know, like most of us, I just went. I'm going to make something. And the number one thing that I made whenever I first went out there like that, a lot of mistakes. With this grind, there is no way that I can get all the way underneath without the back of the tool coming very close to the spike point. This grind is 47.2 degrees. That was loud. This one is a little bit closer to 73.8. 73.7, sorry. So it's a much steeper grind, and I'm going to start with the flute closed, and then I'm just going to swing it all the way around for a really nice cut. Leaves a little bit of a bump in the middle. So that you can have this unifying consistency throughout. And then you just taper this in. So now I'm at the neck. How far down do I go for the neck? Well, I'm taking a lot of material away. So now I go all the way down. And if you're one of those people that hold your breath whenever you're about to make a very dangerous cut, because technically this is side grain, this could snap off at any point.
So this looks like a pretty good time to do the vendor area. Got Hunter Tool Systems here. That Hunter Pro 6mm cutter is what I use on my hollowing system, and it's awesome. It's also the same cutter that I've got on my Jimmy Clues hollowing tool.
I had last round.
Peak Safety's here with their ventilation stuff, respirations, good product. They also have a cool shirt that's absolutely amazing.
We're not crystals, we're not special. 2 types of rock.
The infamous Curtis Seebeck with Turntex, offering cactus juice and Alumilite. Terry back there trying to be incognito. You're in the witness protection program? Starry Night Resin. Cindy Drozda, always busy with people. Trent Bosch over here. School of Woodworking over here. Ornamental Turners, that's some amazing stuff. Carter and Sons has their booth over here as well.
So I started doing these.
With all of their tools. That's Woodturner Pro, this software that you can do segmented bowls with. Speakeasy Pen Emporium. More of Cindy Drozda's stuff. Doug Thompson. The AAW folks. And I almost tripped over my cane. Eugene Soto. Some of the best pen blanks you can buy are from this guy right here. And not just pen blanks. He'll sell you knife scales if you call him. Beautiful stuff, all made with Alumilite. Bottle stopper blanks too. Hi Brenda. Vince with Vince's Wooden Wonders. This is where I get all my sanding discs. All from Vince, always. Now's bottle stoppers with Carl Jacobson. More pen blank stuff and 3D printed stuff to make your own molds. Third generation pen shop, more pen stuff. Arizona Silhouette right here. This is one of the places I used to get my pen kits from when I was doing a lot of pens. Tim Yoder's here as always. They even have some coffee for us if we want it. Far West Workshop, more blanks, pen blanks. One of my channel sponsors, Starbond. The Wood Turning Tool Store with Todd Raines, good friend of mine. And his lovely wife Shelly over here helping somebody. Reforged wood, rough turn bowl blanks. Craft Supplies USA over here. Branches to bowls. All the Vic Mark stuff. These folks are out of Canada. Great people to deal with. Easy Wood Tools over here. Third hand boom arm for dust collection. They've got a big 4-inch one now. Airbrushing wood with Joe Fleming. The Grex airbrush system is a fantastic piece. Turner's Warehouse. Chad Schimmel, always great to deal with Chad. And some yahoo back there, some of you might know. Segmenting sleds. A peak marking. Those are really interesting looking sleds he's got too. Stainless bottle stoppers. Power carving depots over here.
We're like, there's two exits on the interstate. We're right with it. So if you go back to this exit, there's two or three grand that goes down.
Ken Rizzo with Wooden Wonders. Always great to see Ken. He's always got top-notch products. Best woods, tool holders, and all kinds of things. Big old tool rest or a platform, go in your banjo, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of good stuff here. A modular tool rest system. Hidden Valley Woods, always a good selection of wood over here. They even have some pin blanks. Premier Gauges is usually here. They've got some nice stuff. Looks like he's selling sandpaper. More pin kits. A lot of pin turning stuff this year. A lot of pin turning stuff. Specialty Lumber and Logging out of Quinlan, Texas. They've always got good prices on their lumber or their wood. Ron Campbell with Arizona Silhouette, or AZ Carbide. Arizona Silhouette. Ron Campbell with AZ Carbide. His lovely wife Lana back here. Clark Wood Turning Tools. Nice looking steady rests. Robust. They're always here. Mr. and Mrs. Allen Lacer. Always a good selection of tools from them. In fact, I bought a scraper from them a little while ago. Pacific Rim Tone Woods. Some more roughed out blanks. Mr. Lyle Jameson, as always. And then Stuart Batty's huge booth with all his tools. I think he's got the biggest booth here. Oh no, look at there.
Now you get close, it's telling you, hey.
And Stuart doing his demo.
That would be super big. Don't go long base. So here, I need to get a flat base. So let's flatten up this base. So here's this heel coat and this guy.
And Hill Country Woods out of Center Point. I usually buy wood from them when I come. They've always got good prices. And Mr. Howard King floating around here. So they've always got a good selection. They had a huge, they've still got a bunch of mesquite left. They had a lot of mesquite in here early this morning. And then Rising 3B Woodworks, they brought in a lot of mesquite as well. So that's the vendors at SWAT this year. It's been a good time, had some good demonstrations so far. Looking forward to more.
He's going to be talking to us about copper-lidded boxes. I don't know about you, but when I saw the list of possible demos, I thought,
Ambrosia maple, and the other one's a segmented piece, so you can use your imagination on. There's a couple more in the gallery, shape more like a bowl, different wood, deeper, shallower. Helps off here. I'm going to change it out. You can use this, the normal one, but when you're hammering out, you'll find that you have a bigger centerpiece that you eventually have to back this way and hold my hand and do a little pounding. When we were doing this, probably, I don't know, there's a big circle in the middle, probably a 2-inch circle that we had to do that with. So actually my buddy had this great idea, let's put a drill bit in a piece of wood to hold it. So, and you can get down, probably down to an inch on this where you just get more conformity when you're pounding them out. Copper. I just told him to do it 16 gauge. He asked me, I looked at it 3 times today, so I don't remember it, and I didn't. So 16 gauge, 22 millimeter. If you're interested, we get it at a place called Basic Copper. They'll ship it to you. I know they have it in 6 and 12 foot lengths, 12 inches wide. Then we do in that photo, we were doing this all by pin snips. I did that once. I went and bought an electric shear to cut it with. We buy 50-foot rolls now, so it takes a little more. But that's what you get. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. So you just center it up on your jig here. Walk it down. Give it a little pressure to hold it. And then you can start. Had a guy one down, he said, well, you need to sit there and ping it. And that's what you're gonna do right now. You have to ping it, but you gotta make sure you're controlling the pressure on it. Too much pressure and you can fold your copper. It'll fold over on itself inside of there. You can usually save it, but you'll still end up with a little fold no matter what you do with it. But, right now it's just straight off the roll. We do that after we make it.
What was the name of the place for the copper?
Basic Copper.
Basic Copper.
Yep. Then I just start from the outside. I think you can see it drinking on there. So we start. Move a little bit. So this is the part, normally when you're watching a demo, everybody's like, we gotta watch them sand it. Well, you gotta watch what you do because we can't skip this part, but we can skip sand it later.
Have you tried metal spinning techniques on this?
Do what?
Have you tried metal spinning techniques?
No, I have not. I suppose you could come up with something like that. You'd have more of a smooth.
Right. You wouldn't have that hammered look.
But then I would sell all this exercise that
Stuart Batty and Mike Mahoney are getting ready to battle. This should be fun.
Then you set the blade angle, and it uses the slope block initially to crank the blade over. I'm deliberately not speeding all this up much because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing. I get it close, and I come around and sit down.
A little dollhouse for my daughter, but it was a kit. I left a lot of the sharp tools with my husband. And so, but the wood turning, I always wanted to do like miniature table legs. I know that sounds weird, but there's something about that detail. And I grew up in Maine in an older home. It was a colonial home built in the 1790s. And which I guess technically would make it colonial, but anyway. And filled with antiques. My mother loved antiques. She hauled me to auctions. And so it's kind of natural that when I started to make things that I would think about shapes and images from antiques. Now, I really admire the folks that were building these things because they certainly didn't have electricity. They were using treadle lathes and carving. So a lot of the objects that I pick, they have done a really incredible job for making the shapes that they do with the tools that they had. So I started making little bowls, miniature bowls, and I put a couple up on Etsy. And out of the blue, I got an email from somebody who said, I would really like it could you make these replica antiques. They're called treen. They're wooden kitchen objects, really. Maybe in colonial times they were using them to hold sugar or spices, tea, coffee, and tobacco. So he sent me 5 items to make or to reproduce in miniature, which I did. And he was very excited to place another order for other objects. And the next thing I knew, I learned about the International Guild of Miniature Artisans, which is a group that they focus very much on authenticity and scale. So what I'm going to turn today is not going to be true to scale because it would be a little harder for you to see. The ones I have up in the Instant Gallery, most of them are to scale if they're representing an antique. The one I did yesterday is a tobacco jar. I'm doing another tobacco jar today. The one I did yesterday was, out of burl. Let's see if I can, there we are. So this one is the original, and then this is the one that I did that's now in a collection. I did one similar to this. It's over there on the table if you want to look at it afterwards. And this is actually, the life-size one is 6 3/4 inches. So by the time you scale down, you're looking at, half an inch or so. So that one's a little bit larger. So I've done a number of different types of antiques, and I finally settled on 5 to submit to the International Guild of Miniature Artisans. I think it was in 2020, maybe, 2021. COVID's kind of a blur. And I was rejected, and they gave me a whole page of feedback. They said, well, your finishes are not quite right. So I went back for the following year, and the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm also a videographer, a volunteer videographer for the AAW, pretty much so I can get in free if you're interested. But it gives me a very intimate look at what the Turners are doing. And the year I was in Louisville, videographer, and she was using the negative rig scraper. And a lot of things, I think, there's that expression, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. And that's really just a fancy way or a common way of saying simply that when we're ready to go to the next level, then that person will be there. But if I could have been her videographer 2 years prior and not absorbed what she was telling me, I really needed that extra time to be practicing and doing what I was doing. But I watched her with the negative rig scraper, this massive one from Carter & Sons, and I thought, we don't have anything like that in miniature turning. But I brought some kits so you can look at. But so I started on the journey of also making tools to make this job a little bit easier. And we had a great tool maker in our club, Tucker Garrison, who we made lots of larger tools. We would grind metal and figure out how to make a nice small tool. So we did. The first one we did was this is one of the newer ones. But you can come up and look at these afterwards. So this is just it's actually a machine drill bit from Harbor Freight. They come in sets of 5. And The first one I made, I actually glued in. So here's one of the first ones. And it just glued in. But I was using all these really pretty exotic pen blanks that people give me. I get lots of small ones from people. And so I thought, I want to reuse it after the tool has, done its life. So that's when I started making the aluminum collets and learned a little bit about the tap and die. They're not the prettiest, but they certainly work. And so I can go ahead and unscrew that. Let's see here. And I was going to go ahead and pass around. So here's one I did, there on this one, there are 2 set screws in there. Let me go back to that camera. Of different sizes, because this is a little larger aluminum. Everything okay? Oh, you're okay. This is a little larger piece of aluminum, so I was practicing with what I was like, set screws. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, because we use the camera. All right, but you can see that. I put it in the direction of the wood, the way that I want to turn. So that little knob there is going to be the first thing that I'm going to try to focus on. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it up, like we do anything, right? With a big bowl pouch. Most of my turning is, I might be high speed, but I move slowly. So I'm not in a huge rush. And I like to just, I'm just warming up. Like you're going to take a run, you always stretch a little bit. So sometimes this kind of mimics that warming up. And I'm just doing a nice little double supported cut. And with this wood, it really does show up every little problem area that I might have had as I was trimming this up. I don't know if you can see this.
Our own Jim Duxbury. I love this kind of dad.
Magical Morse paper. Welcome. Thank you much. Jim Duxbury from Graham, North Carolina. And we love SWAT. We make a special trip out here almost every year and have for many years. I have to introduce my wife, who she got tired of sweeping the chips. She didn't like the chips on the floor. And after about 4 or 5 years, she knew she wasn't going to catch up, so she said, I want to try this. So I said, come on, put her on a lathe, and my God, now she loved it. She demoed out here last year. Today we're going to do handmade Morse papers. Are there any beginners? If you're a beginner, there's no 2 ways about it. Rule number 1 is learn how to sharpen. Rule number 2 is learn how to sharpen. Rule number 3 is the same thing. You can't use a dull gouge. You can't use a dull table saw. You can't use a dull kitchen knife. You can't use a dull lawnmower. It's got to be sharp. Learn how to take a round rod and put a cutting edge on it. A flat piece of steel and put a cutting edge. Learn what a cutting edge is and how to make it. You can make cutting edges. They're also known to be creative, and I have 2 U.S. patents. Today we're going to do the magical Morse taper. I think you all know what a Morse taper is. That wasn't the guy's name that made the hole in here. His name was Stephen A. Morse. He was a machinist. Morse tapers all fit differently. When you put this in, that's about 1/4 of an inch outside of the taper. When you put this in, that's about 3/4 of an inch outside the taper. This one, when you put it in, it's almost flush. It doesn't make any difference, but they all seat differently. I like Morse tapers to fit like that. And I'm going to make a wooden Morse taper like that. The Morse taper comes in from 0 to 7, I think. And 7, these are 2s, but 7s are great big things. Morse taper fits in the socket, and the more you press in on this, the more it holds. However, it has to have pressure going this way. If you use this on a headstock, or let this vibrate at all, it'll come out. Vibration takes this out. So it always has to have pressure inward. To make a Morse taper, you need a block of wood.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So why would I want to use a Morse taper if it's not going to be a drive, it's not going to drive, and it's not going to have a life center. So what good is my Morse taper going to do me?
You want to bet? I'm going to show you how to drive with it. I'm going to show you how to use it. Why you would use it here, you'll see. Believe me. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful drive. I'll just do a small one. Here's a small Morse taper. Put it in here. We're going to make one of these. This is about the 1/2 inch. This is a grinding wheel with a 1/2 inch. This is a block of wood with a 1/2 inch hole in it. You put it on here like this. And you tighten this up, and you've got a grinder. I'll show you a whole bunch of things, but it's a good question. I suppose I should start out with a need before I start out making things. Not only that, you can make them to fit whatever you want, size you want, shape you want. To make a Morse taper, you need a block of wood. You have to find the center of the block of wood. This is a block of oak. All you need is something straight grain, no knots, or fairly hard wood. I'll turn it around. 1.25 roughing gouge, roughing spindle gouge. Roughing spindle gouge, everybody's got them, nobody knows how they work. The bottom of this tool is radius. This bottom part is radius. From here to here is square. So you can use this to gouge things out. When you want to make something nice and flat, you can rotate this over on that square edge. It becomes a skew, and you can run it down here like this. This is a production tool. In production, the least time you have to switch tools, the better off you are. So this is 3-in-1. Usually on something small like this, I turn much faster, but this is good. I also don't drive with a spur center, as you can see. When you want to make a cylinder, you lock your tool into your side, put your finger under the bottom of the tool, it rides on the tool rest, and that gives you your depth of cut. You put this on the tool rest, touch the tool, bring it up till it cuts. That's right where you want to be. You're right on the end of the tool, and you rock back and forth. You don't move your arms, you rock on your feet. That will give you a nice if you want a square tenon, if you want a finished cut, you roll this over like this. Now you got a skew. If you want to put a tenon on here, you stand it up on it like this and put a tenon on it. We'll rough it down round. And now, the hardest part of a Morse taper, it's got to be exact. Nothing in the middle. It's got to be a straight taper that's exactly the right size on both ends, and it's going to fit into this slot. The way you make a gauge is you take anything with a number 2 Morse, take a block of wood 2.5 inches wide. This is 2.5 inches wide, probably 4 or 5 inches long, whatever you want. You take a 1x1 and you glue it, or pin it on the end of here, glue it on the end. Then you take a number 2 Morse taper, you set it in against there. Just put it in, take another piece of wood, glue it, pin it on these against there. Now you've got a gauge. for your Morse taper. When you turn one of these tapers, it's got to fit in there. If it's got a bump, you can see the bump, wherever it is. It's going to be 2.5 inches long. The gauge is 2.5 inches long, so you don't even have to measure it right there.
Can you make it too long?
Can you what?
Can you make it too long?
The taper?
No, can you make the
Whole thing?
This part, you mean?
Yeah.
We're going to, yeah.
I'll show you. Yes, you're going to see that.
It can't be too long?
It can be as long as you want. Yep.
So it can't be too long?
It can't be too long. It can be anything. It can be fat, skinny, whatever you want. As soon as you turn this on here, it's going to fit in here and here. I'll show you. This to this. It's 0.7 inches on this end and 0.572 inches on this end. Don't ask me why, that's the way it is. For people that are making these, or when I teach classes, I like them to have a reference point in the center. So all I do is take these two numbers and average them. That's 0.636 inches in the middle. 0.7 inches. 3/4 of an inch is 0.75, so this is almost 3/4 of an inch. This is a little bigger than a 1/2 inch. I'll take that all the way around. Now, I could set a calipers or whatever else. I'm just setting them to the width of the hole there. And I take a parting tool. This has got to just fit over here. It's not a feat of strength. You got to just let it slide over there. And this end is going to be 0.572. Now I've got 3 cuts, and I can set my tool rest. Now I'm going to look at the bottom of this cut and the bottom of this cut. And I'm going to set this parallel to those bottoms. And that way, I've made a lot of these, believe me, you'll like doing it this way. This dimension here and this dimension here are pretty much the same. So when I turn this, and this bottom one is going to go down deeper. Now I can just go from here. Noticing I'm rocking on my feet. There's no arm movement. You lock the tool into your side. That way you make a nice straight cut. I'm rolling up on the side. Ooh, it's a hard piece of wood. Yeah. Like that. Don't go too far. This end, I put this end on there, but it didn't. This is actually the end of the taper, which should be small. That's just a knockout. It doesn't have to be anything. I deliberately left this a little big or something. You believe that? So it won't fit on there. Almost fits, but you can see right away where the high spots and the low spots are. You can probably sand that, but it's got to be nice and straight though. That should be getting pretty close now. A little fat on that end. It's not very much, it's just a little bump. Little bumps are handled. This is a 2.5 inch wide piece of something with the hardwood, with the sandpaper glued on it. But it's nice and flat. It's perfect for handling situations like this. Now it'll fit on there.
Move your head.
There's no wiggling, no anything, it fits on there. If you made this too small, that's a wedge shape, you could move up here, you know, and bring the taper up further. So if you mess up, just move up a little bit and cut this off, and you let it stick out. But now, we've got a taper that should fit in the other end. And that's where we want it to fit. Becomes nice and tight. I don't know, I'll put an end on here, let's see. I'm gonna just make a point on here or something. I'll show a whole bunch of these things, but this one now, if I had something that had a recess in it, I could actually make this fit the recess. I can sand that, I can do whatever. If I don't like it, I can make a ball out of it. If you had something radius on the bottom. If the piece is finished, that was a nice video. I could have made something out of it. If this was, if you put something on here that was finished, that had a radius bottom on it, you put a piece of inner tube or something over here, and then push that on there, it not only helps it grip, but it would not mark the piece. So you can make these out of all kinds of things. This is a 5/8. Put a 5/8 grinding wheel in here. And now you get a grinder. Spins pretty good. I wouldn't do my tools on here, but if you're doing a lawnmower blade or something like that, it's excellent. You can put different grit wheels on it. It takes you 2 minutes, and the time it takes you to take one off, you can put a different thing on here. I mean, it just takes almost no time at all to do it. Buffing wheels are very expensive. And you gotta get aluminum shafts and you screw it on and you do all that stuff. This is a 1 inch, this is a 1 inch circle. These are $3.50 from Harbor Freight. You put it on here and you got a buffing wheel. For $3.50 you can have one for every grin. It takes you 2 minutes to put it on there.
Martin?
Cheers, Martin. We miss you, bud.
Wish you could be here, buddy.
This is a piece of MDF that I've mounted to a faceplate. Then I put it on the lathe. I then put my Jacob's chuck in with a 1/4 inch drill, and I drilled a hole directly in the center. Then I went out to, I think it was Home Depot, that I bought a 1/4 inch aluminum dowel. You can use wooden ones. The aluminum is just much more durable. So that's what I did. And then what you're doing is you're going to be putting this on. And here's where you need the light. I need a light overhead so that I can see what I'm doing. So you mount it on the first one, and then you come on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to advance the tailstock and until it contacts the wood, and I make a little dimple, at each one of the center points, and I'm going to use those to then turn around and draw, circles using a compass to give me a starting place when I want to cut my grooves. So there's number 1. Now we come to do number 2. And this is the hardest part of the whole thing. So there's number 5. So we just go around to all 6 of the little indentions and draw the same size circle. And this is going to be the guide that I'm going to use to start making my grooves. So now I'm going to start with groove number 1.
lunchtime Sunday, last day of SWAT. People are in line and starting to get their lunch. Everybody's waiting to win all of that stuff up there, and 2-3 lathes. Vendors are tearing down. Some of them wait till the last minute. It's been a great show. Well, another year of SWAT has come and gone. Had a great time. Just absolutely had a great time. As always, it's always good at SWAT. At least for me. I've learned something every time I've gone. I've made new friends every time I've gone. I've hooked up with old friends every time I've gone. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around. Looking forward to going back next year. I've already been asked to make another donation piece for the 3-for-1 giveaway, so looking forward to that. And I'll be getting the SWAT videos out really soon. So hang in there. Appreciate your patience, and I'll have some video up here as soon as I possibly can.